You know what that is? That's what the American dream was. I think New York is like the ultimate city of the American dream. I mean, so many people came here and still come here to this day because they're looking for the American dream. Is the American dream still alive? Is it what people still strive for in life? Is it worth working for? Is it worth moving across the world, leaving your family behind, leaving your culture behind to come to this city and make it happen and work towards your dream? The question is, what is your dream? Sometimes well, it's not sometimes. I think people always think that the grass is green on the other side. Again, it depends on what you're looking for. Like, what do you want? Um, One thing I realized, like, over the years, especially like after living in multiple levels of like economical state and like social status and whatever it is that you first of all get to experience, and then you can like be like, okay, this is worth it and this isn't. But I think the American dream back in the day was, I don't know, making money, owning a house, having a nice car, sending your kids to a private school, you working at a good job. And I think a lot of that changed over the years because right now, a lot of people are like realizing that the corporate process, the corporate system isn't all that. Like, you slave to this organization for a majority of your life. And unfortunately, it's like the best part of your life, right? From like, say, your 20s to, 50s, 60s. At the beginning of your life, you were just in school, so you didn't get the chance to, I don't know, experience much. And then when you're like retired, then you're too old to experience anything. And the second thing is like the house and the car. I think more people are realizing that they're more so liabilities than anything else. We all know that the house is like one of the worst things you can do right now. I know a lot of people will say, well, I made a lot of money owning a house. Like, a house is like a security. But is it really though? Because like, you buy a house, let's say back in the day, it was like 300K, 400K, whatever. You almost end up paying 3 times that with interest and renovations and all that. And then over time, like, you don't notice that because you're paying month to month. And then you sell it, oh snap, I, made 200K on it. But yeah, you spent like a mil on it. And you realize that it wasn't the best financial decision ever. But some people, don't save their money, so it's a forced savings account. So like, it's a forced investment. But if you're just able to like rent somewhere cheaper and take that money and maybe put it in the stock market, you're gonna end up making more. And the biggest like thing there is that you're not like stuck and forced to be in this one house in this one area, which to me, I think the ultimate dream is going to be freedom. It's going to always be freedom. And I guess America was like, the country of the free, and everything that we do here is freedom. But is that a marketing term, or is it truly the case? I know depending on like the country that you come from, obviously there's more freedom here, but sometimes we forget that most of the countries that we come from, like, it's pretty good. I think most of the countries that we come from, like, obviously a lot has changed. Like, obviously 1992, Bosnia had less freedom than the US. But that's why I think like the American dream truly changed, because life is a lot better in a lot more other locations than here, because like I said, you're slaving all day. When you're home, you're like just rushing home, and you're forced to stay at this house that was the American dream to buy, and now you gotta spend your weekends like working around the house. Maybe you have enough money where you can hire people to maintain the house, but then you gotta like work more to pay for those people. And while in Bosnia, like, you have less, but I feel like you have more. I'll tell you guys a story of a businessman and a fisherman. So there's this fisherman that goes and, he catches fish, and he just catches enough for his family so that they have dinner. And this businessman was walking by, and he's like, oh, how's the day like fishing? He's like, oh, good, like caught like 3 or 4 fishes. He's just like, could you have caught more? You know, if you stayed out there longer. He's like, yes, I could. He's like, well, why don't you do that? Like, why don't you stay out longer? Because you can catch more and then you can sell it. And he's like, what's the point of that? And then he's like, well, when you sell it, you can make some money and then maybe you can scale that operation. And he's like, and then what? He's like, well, when you scale it, you can have an office and, you know, you can hire people and you can, you know, focus on scaling like an actual like company. He's like, okay, and then what? He's like, well, then maybe you like keep on working hard, you know, all day, and maybe you get to a point where you can sell it. And he's like, okay, and what happens when I sell it? He's like, well, then maybe you can, you know, chill out and, you know, if you like fishing, you can go fish. And he's like, well, I'm doing that now, right? And that fisherman, that's all he needs in his life. Like, he's happy. While the businessmen, they have a different idea of where value in life is. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I'm a businessman, like I work a lot, but there's also like moments where I'm realizing that there's a level to it. There's the fisherman is right in a lot of aspects where, you know, he works just enough where he has enough to support the family. He's not slaving away for some kind of company or business, because that business will eventually get him to a point where he doesn't need to worry anymore. And Bosnia is like that. Like, people don't make a lot of money in Bosnia, but they're happy. Yeah, like, they complain a lot. But if you ask them, like, if you could work more, would you? A lot of them will say no. Some of the ones that say yes, like, they end up quitting later down the road anyways, because life in Europe is different. And it really depends on what you're looking for. But life in Europe is chill. It's about family. It's about you. You know, you really like work to live. Like, here, you live to work, and that's the biggest difference. And I'm realizing that at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if you have a business or if you're working a job here. I'm realizing that more and more people are just saying, I want more time. I want more freedom. A lot of people that run businesses, sometimes they're slaves to their businesses if it's not set up correct. They're slaves either to the business because they need to work, or because the goal like never like gets like achieved. Whenever they're like, I want to make 50K, okay, cool. As soon as they hit that, they're like, I want 100K, then I want 500K, then I want a mil, then I want 10 mil. And you get into this rut where you just never end up achieving your goal, and you're always just working because you're trying to usually fulfill something else. And then the people working a corporate job, sometimes they make enough money and they switch jobs to make more money. And at that point, they're like, honestly, if I could just find a way to just pay off my bills and spend more time with the family and do what I want on the weekends, maybe go play soccer or whatever it is, they would be open to that. And I think just the way that the capitalist economy got like a little overboard. It was cool when it all started, right? You know, I don't know when it truly started. I feel like America was one of the leading countries when it comes to capitalism. Well, let's say it was 100 years, right? It was cool when it started because a lot of countries didn't really focus that much on businesses and money. But after you've tried it for so long, you almost realize that, okay, there's more to life, right? It was fun, it was cool, we all made money, but there's another path to life. And, you know, as I share all this, there's good and bad to everything. In Europe, you know, life is good, but I feel like the economy is trash. I feel like Europe definitely went down over the few decades. I don't think they're leading in anything. They're still dependent on Russia and China and America, where I feel like their GDP and economy is really, I don't know, taking shit in lack of other words. But, you know, that's like the pro and con to everything. And my thought at the end of the day is that no matter what you're looking to achieve, there's a world out there for you. Yeah, I guess that's my thought process on the American dream. I think it was a good run, but I think people are just tired of being in offices and working so you can buy a condo in this big building that is going to end up being empty because you're going to be there and I don't know, everyone just like doing their own thing. You never spend enough time with your family to develop a connection, and you just always feel lonely. Yeah, I think America is going to get lonelier and lonelier over the years, and that's why I think Bosnia is still a good place for it, because I don't think it's there yet. Will it get there? Probably. Just like, you know, other countries, like I mentioned, Germany, I think became super lonely and empty because they kind of shifted towards the West as well. But I want to utilize the time in Bosnia where people still are connected to other humans. And that's something that I think is going to be very important for me in the last decade, especially with my daughter. I just want her to be exposed to loving people and develop humanly connections, because I think the American dream is becoming cold. All right, guys, I know this was more of a rant. These are my thoughts. It's a nice day outside, so I just wanted to chill out and record something for you guys. But if you guys haven't liked it or commented yet, leave me a comment and follow me on IG if you're not following me on IG yet. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.